So, people, the heat wave is thankfully over for now. Um, we did have a massive storm and there was a lot of tree damage. So, thankfully, the crews for electric people, the crews for tree guys are out there. And we give them all a great thank you. We appreciate you guys keeping the power on in difficult times. Now, back with I guess I would say this is a horror movie. Maybe it's like a horror thriller. I don't know. I'll have to. I don't know exactly what category I'm gonna put it in. But the movie is Companion. Now, if you haven't seen it, there's really no way to give you a breakdown of this movie without just basically spoiling it. So you're not gonna get much in the way of like a plot or anything like that. Um, Starts off with a black screen voiceover, which is something that I really enjoy. Um, I don't remember the first movie I saw that had that in it, but I've probably enjoyed it since then. Um, the lead actress is Sophie Thatcher. She was also in Heretic with Hugh Grant, which I enjoyed and had done a review of somewhat earlier. Um, I find that she's a good actress, and I also find that she's very attractive. She has a cute little like snaggletooth, which is just something that I've always thought was cute. It's just like a natural thing. I mean, not every snaggletooth that I've ever seen is cute, but for the most part, if you've got a snaggletooth, I think it's cute. So don't feel like everyone walks around this world and just judges you for your tooth. Sometimes they judge you like, "Aw, she's cute." If it's a dude, get that shit fixed, fuckface. Okay, cool, cool cinematography. It's colorful. It's vibrant. Um, there's a lot of beauty inside everything that you get to see in this film. So that was awesome. Now, they they being a couple travel to the house, just a house. It's kind of a nondescript place. Trying to think of how to not give away a lot. So there's a homeowner at this house, so it's not theirs, and he just reminds you of any old pretentious rich douchebag that you've ever, I mean, if you've met them, then you'd know people like that tend to be immediately unlikable. If you've never met any really rich people who are pretentious, then I'm sure you've seen them in movies. They kind of play like they do in movies. So hopefully, this character doesn't go so deep into the weeds with that kind of stuff that you have to suspend your disbelief of it because, like I said before, there's a lot of these situations that you see in movies that I just wouldn't be part of. If I went over your house, no matter how wealthy you were or what you had going on, if you started being a total jerk to me, I would just leave. I don't care how rich you are and I don't care what you have to offer me. If you're a jerk, I'm out of there. And it's just as simple as that. So, this movie, it suddenly makes you think, man, I hope I don't look like that when I'm busting my nut. Tough business, kid. I like to think that I'm at least like cutish or semi handsome or I don't know, something along those lines. I'm just not. Although, who really knows, right? So much like it is in real life, it is annoying to, even in a movie, It's annoying in real life, but it's even annoying in a movie. When you see a beautiful, good woman who just seems to actually have some love for her man and, you know, just be with someone who is clearly not a good person. Not only not a good person, but not good for them, not good for anyone else around them, not good for even themselves, just bad people. Why do you see so many beautiful women with clearly bad men? What are you doing? Stop it. The first inkling you get that he's a bad man, you're probably right. So figure it out. Get a grip on your life. If you with someone bad, just accept that you've made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. It's okay. Shadow makes mistakes, right, Shadow? Oh, she didn't want to hear that. Sorry. Sorry, Shadow. So, don't do that. When a dude is a jerk to you, just go. Alright? Now, then, all of a sudden, this movie makes you think, wow, this got weird. Really, really, really fast. And really, really, really weird. So, me personally, I'm here for it. I'll take a movie with a sudden dash of weirdness, and if they want to ramp it up to 600, I'm okay with that. So ultimately, that's what they did. They took the weirdness and the craziness and they just animated themselves with it and got the spirit of it inside of them. And then they said, we're going full bore. Just, pew. And then they did it. And, you know, ultimately, when things get let loose, there's a lot of despicableness going on. There's a lot of disgusting behaviors going on. There's a lot of diabolical actions going on. And it's pretty gross. Just to see what you know is kind of part of human nature just putting itself on that full display where, ugh, come on, man. Good Lord. Now, the winner here, ultimately for me, is, the sardonic sense of humor that laces the whole film. It is quite funny. And being a movie that's quite funny, it's, as gross as it is, it's funny enough that you feel lighthearted about the film, and that was kind of cool. Um, so a lot of the things that don't make sense in the first part of the movie by the third act kind of tied together, and you're like, oh, yeah, I guess I could see a lot of the things I thought maybe didn't work. I could see how they did work. So I felt like this movie did a really good job of tying in pieces of it together that might have seemed like they didn't fit together as the movie was first going on, maybe even deep into it. I was like, wow, that's kind of whatever with that, whatever with that. But then, after the big reveal, you're like, ah, yeah, a lot of it makes sense. um, One of the best robots that I've ever seen in a movie. So I thought that aspect of it was kind of cool. There really was like a good acting job. It was well done for a robot. Well, I guess an android. Androids and robots aren't exactly the same thing. That's not really the time to get into that. They throw in some shit about Stalin's birthday. I thought that was well played, kind of funny. Overall, I would say this movie is it's about inadequate human beings and the lengths that they will go to keep something subservient underneath them, regardless of what that is. They want something to be subservient, and you see it all the time in leadership of various kinds throughout all the leadership factions of history. People who want to lead tend to not really be good people, unfortunately, because ultimately you do need a leader, but the really good ones are the ones who have it thrust upon them, like a George Washington. Um, so the movie's about crappy people, but not just about crappy people. And the things that they'll do in their crappiness, but it's also a narrative about how pathetic they are. So it doesn't just leave these people unscathed. It definitely attacks them, and rightfully so, because they are pathetic users and abusers, and they're just really just despicable people, and they deserve to be mocked. This movie did an excellent job of that, so kudos to the writer who I didn't look up. Maybe I'll get better at doing these videos one day. I'm trying. um, in the larger context, it also speaks to um, the humanity that will ultimately be inherent inside of AI produced synthetic human beings. Because if they do end up making them at some point, these discussions have to be had. They're humanoid. So you can't just be running around kicking them down flights of stairs and doing whatever you want to them and just being super abusive, because people will be offended by it because they look human. So at some point, even if it begins with human versus human, they're going to be bickering at each other about the treatment of robots in society if they become prevalent. So I try not to spoil this movie for you. I don't know if I went down too many things a little deeply with a spoil. I'm going to give it a solid 9. I thought it was really awesome and fun, and I think that you would have a fun time with it too. Companion, I believe, is a 2026, 2025 movie. Whichever. It's one of those years. It's a recent. Have a good night.